it's really bad, folks. It's really, really bad. Ever since UBS decided to come into the United States and convince a bunch of Americans to go ahead and invest with their plans, knowing that there was a violation of American law, the IRS is on the trail of everyone. You'll be going to a little bit about the bank?
Yeah.
Okay, back in 19...
Don't scare them too much.
No. Back in 1970, the United States government decided that it was important that people report their foreign bank accounts if those bank accounts exceeded the sum of $5,000 in toto. So the Bank Secrecy Act of 1970 established the form. It's a U.S. Treasury form. It is not an Internal Revenue Service form, but 4 years ago, the Internal Revenue Service was given compliance over the form. Well, when you stop and think about the fact that in the last 38 years, the filing requirement has gone from $5,000 to $10,000. When you stop and think that most of those foreign accounts are in foreign currencies, and the dollar is like the Titanic, has over the last 5 years sunk to nothing, you're talking about the better part of the 6 million Americans that live abroad, plus a pretty good number in the United States, so for one reason or another still have an account abroad, or maybe they like to invest abroad. So the filing requirement covers an incredible amount of people. The IRS has taken the approach, since they got compliance on the form 4 years ago, to really make it a matter of intimidation. I think the current fine is 5 years in prison. Depends on whether it's willful compliance or not. But for the longest time, the form did not specify the penalty. It just said you can be subject to pretty important penalties. You know, if you want to go look it up, go to the U.S. Federal Code, whatever. At one point, they did indicate those penalties, and I didn't come prepared to give you the exact amount, but it is extensive. It's a couple $100,000 and whatever. Now, I don't know anyone that's ever been subject to the form. At one point, it was interpreted to say that if only the form penalties would be applied if there was another violation of U.S. law, kind of an Al Capone kind of thing. Couldn't get them on anything else, but they didn't file and report their foreign bank accounts. But again, since this UBS scandal, there was an amnesty here last year, you may know about it, that told people if you haven't filed a form because you didn't realize you were supposed to, you were given an opportunity to file from the 23rd of March last year till 1st to 15th of September, extended on out till October, but you were supposed to file in duplicate, one copy to the criminal division of the IRS, and something and all, you know. It's a real problem. It's a real problem. 2 years ago, the IRS amended the form to include additional requirements of information. Up until that time, you just indicated you had a bank account and checked a block. All my foreign accounts did not exceed $10,000, $10 to $100,000, $100 to $1 million, over $1 million. Oh, okay, admittedly, that's a little vague. All right. The IRS decided, though, 2 years ago, the Treasury Department, actually, excuse me, decided 2 years ago to ask you to give the specific maximum amount in each and every foreign account during the course of the year.
In dollars. In
dollars, yeah, then converted to dollars. And also the address of your bank. Well, I exploded. I saw that in March last year, and I said, this is absolutely going too far. Number one, it's a model for identity theft. Yes. You have to give on that form your full name, your date of birth, your social security number, your address, the banks that you have abroad, their address, and the maximum value, and you sign it. And after all that is bundled together in one piece of paper, you're supposed to send it off to Detroit, Michigan, the financial capital of nowhere. So, through the help of some friends of Lucy's, I was able to get a meeting with some very high-ranking members of the Internal Revenue Service in Maryland when we came back for Overseas American Week last year. Only one of them gave me his card. He was from the General Counsel office. The other two refused to do so. Or didn't, they just didn't do it. Anyway, I said, look, we got to do something about this. You know, you just can't ask for all this information. You're in charge, you IRS, you're in charge of compliance. You just can't really seek all of this kind of information. Use the last 4 digits of Social Security number. How about that? Oh no, we can't do that. We all work for the IRS on Social Security numbers. Forget the date of birth. Can't do that. Why not? Because the Treasury Criminal Division maintains their files on the dates of birth and on Social Security. You know, what we finally, I thought, had come to agreement on was, I said, well, for God's sakes, then raise the minimum filing requirement. I mean, how about $50,000? If you don't have more than $50,000 in all of your foreign accounts, dispense the people from doing it. We're living in a country where you can up until this year, you could have $3.5 million when you die and not have to do an estate tax return or have one done for you. This year, there's no requirement for an estate tax return. But I said, you know, let's get the spirit of things and let's raise the minimum bar before you even have to file this thing. IRS said, that sounds like a pretty good idea. But we can't do it alone because back in 1970, it was Congress and that established the Bank Secrecy Act. You got to go back to Congress to do it. So we were looking at the idea of maybe trying to get Barney Frank or some of the people on the banking committee.
Julie